Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Kayfabe Catering. Today we are going to be making some candied pork belly bites. Right here we've got some pork belly, a 10-pound piece of it. I've already injected my pork belly with a mixture of red apple ale, then a half teaspoon of chipotle powder, and a half teaspoon of cinnamon. Injected that into the meat while it was still in the cryo sealed bag to help contain the liquid in the bag. So it's got a bunch of perforations up here in the bag to get it down there. So this is what we're going to be making today. Pork belly burnt ends. Inspired by many recipes that I've seen. This one came about by speaking with my buddy Dustin at work. Dustin made some what I call poor man's burnt ends using a sirloin roast or chuck roast instead of brisket. Came out fantastic, but we're going to do it with pork belly. And the pork belly, if you look at the long run of it here, if we were to slice this long ways, we'd have pieces of bacon, but we're going to cube it into 2-inch cubes. Then we're going to put a rub on it, put it out on the smoker. We're going to let it smoke to about 190 degrees internal, and then we'll bring it in. We'll put it in a chafing dish. We're going to put some butter, some brown sugar, some other good stuff in that. Put it back out there and let it continue cooking. So this is a process that should take us probably about 4.5 to 6 hours from start to finish. It's already been injected and marinated for about 2.5 to 3 hours, so we're going to go on from there. So I'll just show you one or two cuts here so that you get the idea of it, and then we'll push pause and come back and get back into it when we're doing the marinade or doing the seasonings with the rub. And I'm just using a store-bought rub that I got. It's a sweet and smoky rub that we'll be using through here. Just going to cut this in half, make it a little easier to work with on my board there. So we're going to cut this, like I said, into about 2-inch cubes. And obviously you want a nice sharp knife to do this with, and you want to be careful while doing it. Enough said. So then we'll take these, and again we're just going to cube them. So as you can see, I've got plenty to cube up, so I'm going to go ahead and get cubing, and then I'll get back with you in a moment. Okay, we are back, and we've got all of the meat cubed up. Now it's time to put our rub on it, and this is just a Kansas City style rub. Sweet, smoky, not hot. And we're going to be very, very liberal with this. I want every side of every piece coated with this rub. And just to help it speed along, we're going to actually get some rub out of the can, not going through the little holes on the top. So we'll put a good layer on here, then I'm going to rub this in, move it all around. And I still got this in a pan, and you'll notice that this pan's got a lip around it. It's about 3/4 of an inch or so high. This is, it's going to sweat. The meat will sweat, and you'll get some liquid on the bottom. We're not going to add any more liquid to it, but this rub is going to get infused down into the meat. It's going to permeate through it, and it's going to become a nice dark red color even before we put it on the smoker. And then of course we'll get more color once the smoke hits it. And this is a heavy sugar rub. but it's going to be smoking very low, 225 degrees, 250 at the most. So it's not going to get hot enough for the sugar to burn. It will caramelize because it'll be on there for so long, but it won't burn. You don't want that burnt flavor when you're barbecuing and when you're smoking. So there we go. So again, I'll let this sit for just a little bit. Let this sweat down. And then I've got some smoking racks that I'll put this on. Just makes it a lot easier moving them around on the smoker. And that'll be the next phase. So this is my shout out to Dwayne Day. He and I were talking about this yesterday. And always asks me if I've made a video and how come I haven't posted it on YouTube lately. Just been busy. Still cooking every day. Maybe not video quality food, but still eating. So hey, we're gonna take a break. We'll come back when it's time to go put these on the smoker. Thanks. So, through the miracle of television, it's actually been overnight that these have been marinating. I went ahead and sprinkled them down as we saw earlier with the rub. I've got some digital thermometers that I'm going to insert into a couple of these. That way I know that I've got my 195 without having to continually open and close it and hit it with a quick read or an instant read. So I just kind of made this one into a skewer, and we'll set that there. And I got another thermometer that will pick another rack. And as you can see, I've got these on individual racks, like a cooling rack. Make it really easy to take it on and off of the smoker. So again, on this one, we're just going to skewer up some of these nice thick pieces, because we know if the thick pieces are 195, then the smaller ones certainly are as well. And you do have a point on your thermometer on the probe that actually reads it, and that's typically about 2 inches back. So got that nestled in there. Next step is we'll take these down to the smoker, get that fired up, catch up to you in a little bit. Alright, so put the racks on. Already got my thermometer plugged into them, set to go off at 195. It's going to read up through my tablet to let me know. The smoker's going to do the rest of the hard work. Our work is done, which is nice because it's really cold out here. I don't know the exact temp. I think it's somewhere around 22 or 23 degrees. So we'll leave these go probably around 2 to 3 hours, and then we'll be pulling them off, treating them with that maple syrup, honey, brown sugar, and butter, putting them back into a pan, covering them up with foil, and putting them under there. Just stay tuned, and I'll show you the rest of the procedure. Be back in a little bit. Alrighty, and through the miracle of television, it's been 2 hours. Correction, earlier I believe I said we're looking at 195. We're actually for 165 before we wrap them and put them in, just like we would if we were doing a pork shoulder or maybe a brisket. So we've got 163 on the one skewer, 169 on the other. So we're gonna split the difference. So what I've got is a container here. We've got a baking tray that's gonna hold all of our good stuff. Just to make it easier for me to carry it down, it's got my honey, my maple syrup, brown sugar. Sorry about that abrupt cutting out earlier. I ran out of memory on my card there. So, you missed what I put in there. You saw me stacking it up out here. But it was basically 1.5 cups of brown sugar, was a 1/4 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 2 sticks of butter. And just sprinkled that in here. This is the first time opening it since then. It's been 1 hour and 15 minutes ago. Everything is looking fantastic in here. So we're at 183 on some of them, 185 on the other, it reads. So at this point, there's only one way to really know what you're going to know, and that's Pitmaster privilege. Let's reach in here and give it a shot. Oh, absolutely delicious. Sweet, not spicy, very smoky, maple syrup. You guys are going to love it. Well, hey, last step is for me to take them, drain off some of the juice, and just let them smoke for about another 15-20 minutes or so, let them tacky, and they're done. And then I'm going to put them aside, put them in the crock pot in the morning, take them to the guys on Tuesday morning. Everybody, it's been a pleasure. Hope you enjoy them. Try them. Make your own version. Make them hotter, make them sweeter, but make them. Peace, man. Kayfabe Catering, out.